You should read your Bible, sirs. You can find all types of weird shit in there.
Hey, want to have a rousing discussion about truth, honor, patriotism?
No, not you. Not you. Your organization's terrible. Quiet. I'm not going to give you a question. You are fake news.
How about new, you crazy Dutch bastard?
You ever been mindfucked before?
You are fake news.
The media said what?
Let's see what these deep state characters are up to.
Now you see that evil will always triumph, because good is dumb.
Dutch, are you in the International Space Station? We can barely see you. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hey everybody, it's Jason Dutch and Lindsay. What's up?
Hey, Lindsay, socialistly awkward. How are you doing?
I am doing good. Kinda. It's been an interesting couple of days here. Did I close out I'm trying to see what I just did with the window that I had open. So I am a little bit discombobulated because I am podcasting. I'm podcasting from my hotel room in
space,
snowy Utah. I am dangerously close, too close for comfort to Lindsay, like not too far away.
It's true.
I'll be peering in the window while her husband's pooping or something like that.
Not as close as when I was at Disneyland, but pretty close.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did come to Disneyland and stop by and say hi. I remember that now. Yeah, we had my wife put out the charcuterie board and everything for you. And yeah.
Oh man, and I didn't even show up. I'm the worst. I'm a jerk. Sorry.
We also didn't tell you to come by, but we just were waiting just in case,
Mm-hmm. Just in case I found like your house somewhere. There weren't that many in California, so I should have looked.
Yeah, there's only a couple houses in California. Yeah. I mean, it was like a 40% chance you would have knocked on the right door.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
But all right, so to everyone joining us today, I am probably barely visible. I checked into this hotel. So first of all, I am in a town. I moved, so this morning I have had the worst fucking week. Like I was talking about on Twitch yesterday, my daughter's. All right, I'm gonna take like 3 minutes and just spill all of it.
I was gonna say,
is that okay? All right.
Just talk. Just tell us all.
My daughter wanted to finish her junior year in Bakersfield.
Yeah.
Understandable, right?
Yeah, of course.
So,
yeah.
Her boyfriend's mom said she could stay with them.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't too excited about that. She's 17, staying with the boyfriend. So I asked a lot of vetting questions like, who's watching them? Are they allowed in the room together? They gave me all the right answers, right? So I was like, against my better judgment, I allowed it. Then I come to find out, because we discussed all this like 6 weeks ago. Then I come to find out about 4 weeks ago, there's no refrigerator in that house. So I'm like, how do they not have a refrigerator? And what are they eating? Do I want her staying there with no refrigerator? Melissa was going to go just buy like a mini fridge and give it to him. And I'm like, dude, just give him the fucking refrigerator in the fucking garage, right? Like we had it was like a 7-year-old refrigerator. It's still really nice, in the garage.
Yeah, garage fridge.
Yeah, it's like from before, like when her and I were separated. I bought it like 7 years ago. We separated for about a year, so it's a relatively new one. 20 cube, decent fridge. I give it to him, and then my daughter's like, oh, they don't have a bed either. Like she sleeps on the couch, and I'm
For
like,
anybody or just for her?
the two older kids had a bed. The two little kids were sharing a twin, like a full size, and the mom didn't have a bed. So my daughter comes to me and she's like, can you give them the mattress in the garage? And I'm like, that's our king size mattress that, like, it's not like, this mattress was a decent mattress. And
Yeah.
the only reason why we weren't using it was because it's so high, and the kids were my little one was falling off the bed. So we got a cheaper mattress to use.
Yeah.
So my daughter's like, well, can you give them the mattress? So we're like, fine, whatever. And it was pristine. It was in like a waterproof cover, like, so there was no like stains on it or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so I go over there, we bring them the refrigerator, we bring them the bed. The lady's like, oh, thanks. I'm like, that's all? Okay, but whatever. I let it go.
Yeah.
So fast forward to Tuesday. And is where it's Friday now, right? For those on the audio podcast. And I'm getting all the stuff ready for the house. And my daughter's like, and we were selling our washer dryer. So my daughter says to me, I thought you were selling the washer and dryer to them. They don't have a washer dryer. I'm like, they don't have a refrigerator, a bed, or a fucking washer dryer. So she's like, well, sell it to them. And I'm like, I sold it for $350 to someone on Facebook Marketplace already. She says, well, sell it to them. But they can only afford $300 and they can't pay you till the 24th. And these are right wingers, mind you, like diehard Trump voters. So I'm like, fine, I'll sell it to them for $300. And she's like, all right, but they can't pay you till the 24th. Whatever. So they come over to get the washer dryer. While they're there getting the washer dryer, they're like, oh, what are you doing with that couch? What are you doing with all that food in the like, they literally took 3 pickup truck fulls of stuff that I was going to get rid of. Some I didn't care about. Some was stuff I was going to sell on Facebook Marketplace. And I was like, yeah, you could have that for like $10. Like this couch that was like 6 years old. I'm like, just take it, dude. Like at this point, I'm not going to fucking argue with you anymore. Cause I was going to donate it, but I'm like, fine, just take it.
Yeah.
And so it's not like it was the money, right? It was more like, so what the fuck is going on? Am I furnishing your house? All right. So, but I'm like, hey, my daughter's going to use it for 5 months. So it's fine. Fast forward again to yesterday. Mind you, our house closed, the sale closed of our house this morning at 10. They knew this. They decided that they didn't want my daughter to stay with them. One day after they, we gave them all this stuff.
What?
Yeah. So then my daughter's crying. I've been going crazy for the last 24 hours, 36 hours actually have been a whirlwind. I literally moved my daughter in there Wednesday, moved her out on Thursday. I had a house that I was emptying everything out of. I had to bring all of her stuff back into the house that I was selling the next day. And then we're like scrambling, me and my 2 daughters, putting stuff together, figuring out what to donate and run over to Goodwill. I dropped off 2 baskets of stuff at Goodwill at like 1 o'clock in the morning when they were closed. So like, I'm surprised they didn't come chasing after me because they're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Right. So like, anyway, I get all this situated. My daughter's flying out to Chicago to meet me. I drove to Utah. I get to my hotel, right, in Cedar City, which I wrote a song about. I wrote a song about it on the way here. When I got almost here, I saw a sign that said Cedar City, 20 miles. Hanging out here in Cedar City. The girls out here don't look too pretty. The guys out here, they smell real shitty. But that's just good old Cedar City. Their politics are real right wing. The pastor's wife, she likes to sing. The sister wives, they line the streets. And they don't do much exciting between the sheets. I mean, that last part is that. See, I'm ad-libbing now, right?
You're yeah.
I'm freestyling, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's Cedar City. So I was trying to book a hotel in Salt Lake where there's internet,
Yeah.
and I'm like, why the fuck are the rooms so much money?
Because
Like,
the NBA championships are
I
happening.
didn't know that the All-Star game was fucking. I realized like, on the way here, I'm like, oh, because I'm listening to like the festivities, and I'm like, and I put two and two together. I'm like, that's why.
Yeah, because
right?
they're in Salt Lake.
It was like $600 for a fucking, right, Holiday Inn Express.
Exact. Yeah. No, everything is crazy expensive down in Utah right now.
Yeah. So,
hey,
Nadia,
if you're in Cedar City,
Yeah.
what you should go see is the monument for the Mountain Meadows Massacre.
Okay, so I was afraid that you might know this town.
Yeah. Did you think I wouldn't know this, Dutch?
Okay, so let me finish my Cedar City story.
Okay.
Because you didn't even know there was one.
I didn't.
And again, for those of you joining on my channel, the Wi-Fi here is terrible. But I pull into the Comfort Inn. So Comfort Inn's like, it's a middle of the road hotel, right? It's not like a Days Inn, but it's not like a Hampton. It's so, it's a nice place. I had a good breakfast. So I'm like, okay, cool, that'll work.
That's what's important.
And I pull into the hotel. It had just snowed here, I guess. And they plowed, and they didn't plow. Whoever came in plowed the lot, went down, came back, went down, came back, and all the snow was pushed up against the parking lots. So I get here, and I texted Lindsay, I'm like, I'll be there at like 9:15. Little did I know that I was going to have to literally go get a shovel from inside the hotel and unshovel my own space and the space for the family next to me in a minivan, who, by the way, are relocating from Idaho, right? They're like, oh, we're moving from Idaho to Arizona. I'm like, oh, you're getting away from the readout people, huh? And they're like, oh, yeah. So I'm like, oh, they probably were readout people.
They were like, we're offshoots. We're supposed to go start that in Arizona.
Yeah. Well, we're starting up the chapter down there.
Don't blow our cover.
They were very nice. Like I talked to the grandma, the daughter. They were very, very friendly. But my comment on like, well, you're getting away from that white supremacy. And they're like, oh, what white supremacy? Yeah, okay, then I guess that means that you might go to start a chapter. Does the hotel
Wrong
have
answer?
The beds seem to be okay. Tons of mice. Thank you for your concern.
This is a bit of an inside joke, Dutch, from today. From Twitter. So tons of mice asked, does the hotel have satin sheets? So
you got to give me the context. Okay, give me the context.
Yeah, so there was
I didn't know tons of mice were in a gang now. I apologize.
Yeah, well, we started an army. So there was this there's this retired cop who moved to Idaho. He said he's like a political refugee from California, because of course he did. And so there was a political cartoon put out in Idaho recently that basically shows everybody fighting against the far right as insects, and they're exterminating them.
Yeah.
So I made a TikTok about how that's incredibly problematic, and they use Christian nationalist symbolism and fascist symbolism. Anyway, so I called that out, and he was like, I can tell you don't have God in your life, whatever. Anyway, so he said, you're in Satan's army. He tried to say Satan, but he doesn't know how to spell. So I made a post asking if anybody wanted to join Satan's army with me. And so I got lots of response. So that's probably what that's from. Because people are like, well, how much satin do we have to wear? What about sheets or pillowcases? So anyway.
I see. So he's just being a jerk. That's all. I see tons of money. Okay.
He wants to know if you're in Satan's army too.
Yeah, I'm in Satan's army. Mm-hmm. Satan. Speaking of Christian nationalism, as I'm in the hotbed of it here, I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about these I didn't know that the hotel was going to have upload speeds of 0.8.
Mhm.
So I'm doing this from my phone because, I have to have a signal. And so I can't, I'm not going to show any of the videos that we'll do those next week when I'm at, that's one thing about being in Chicago. I'll have access to fucking Xfinity again, which will be glorious.
Yeah. Yes. You'll have good
Because
internet.
even in Bakersfield, all we had was Spectrum, and like it was fine, but it wasn't like 700, 300 upload. You know what I mean? It was like,
Yeah.
it was tolerable, right? So, but yeah, so we'll do those. I'd like to talk some about this prophetic part of Christianity. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about tonight, but like I have videos I wanted to go through with you, and if we can agree to, unless there's another balloon or something, of course.
Yeah. Or well, those objects that they haven't told us what they are, that they're just shooting down.
Yeah, well, they're clearly some type of drone. I mean, they have to be, and now they're finding all types of them because they're like, well, we changed our radar settings. And Marjorie Taylor Greene's pretending that she's like, well, why haven't they been changing the radar setting all along? We've only been in office for 2 years, you stupid fucking bee. What about Trump? He didn't do it. Oh, well, it wasn't Trump's responsibility. Give me a fucking break.
No,
How many
Dutch,
people were flying over when Trump was there?
Dutch, I want it to be aliens. Stop ruining this for me.
If it's aliens, the aliens are very weak because if we're shooting them down,
I know,
and they're capable of intergalactic travel, that's problematic.
Can you imagine? They just are like, this seems like a nice space. Like, look at all these people. Ah! Like they're just getting shot down. Anyway.
No, I think I just figured it out actually. The aliens are very conservative. So in their community here, they came here, advanced species, 1,000 years ago.
Okay.
They flew across interstellar space, light speed.
Okay.
They got here. But because they've been electing conservatives lately, they haven't been upgrading their infrastructure, and their ships are now outdated, and they're only capable of going 45 miles an hour now.
I like it. See, the lore is building. This is fantastic. And so now they're getting shot down. And
now there's an uproar that because they just elected a liberal this last election 300 years ago. And they're like, it's the liberals. How come you haven't been upgrading the infrastructure?
Exactly. Oh, have you seen? Oh my God. So we haven't really talked about East Palestine, Ohio, and what is going on there. But have you seen, like, the right is like, of course, Joe Biden didn't upgrade the tracks. He hasn't invested in that. When the upgraded, like, brakes that were more safe.
Yeah, the pneumatic brakes.
Yeah, Trump revoked that. So they didn't have to use them anymore.
Yeah. So, all right, I did some digging on that because all right, you guys got to remember, we're progressives, we're honest, we tell the truth. I don't even know if Lindsay knows this, but I fact checked. Yes, it's 100% true. Okay. However, this particular chemical would not have qualified for needing that particular brake.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, so it may not have had it anyway. However, I did more digging. This particular chemical, because of lobbying to Republican lawmakers from the rail union, they wanted it to qualify because clearly it's toxic.
Yeah, it's a hazard. Yes.
And they were like, no. They fought to keep the list down. Yeah. And of course, what do you think the Democrats did?
They're like, okay, well, because all the Republicans have to say is we need fewer regulations. This is bad for business when you have all these regulations. And the minute they say that, Democrats are like, gosh, you're like, we don't want to be mean. We also like business.
Tons of money. It's vanilla Coke. We thought it was. Narya says vinyl chloride's not dangerous enough. Tons of Mycos. No, they thought it was vanilla Coke, right? So
yeah,
it's all,
Well, and I was looking at the train cars were not labeled. That for the vinyl chloride, it was supposed to be labeled a certain way, and in a certain train car, and it wasn't labeled, and it wasn't in the correct train cars, and that I've read different reports on that. There's only supposed to be a certain number of cars on those trains because of the risk. But then I read conflicting things about how many cars there were and whether there were too many. It seems like they were borderline, where it was like if there were 15 or whatever, there were only supposed to be 10 or something like that. But they weren't actually following regulations. But yeah, the brake, I didn't know about the brake thing though.
Yeah, and before I start lambasting people, I like to fact check things, right? So like it's and the fact check, the PolitiFact fact check was like mostly true. The only part that wasn't necessarily accurate, and even people like TYT and David Dole are missing this, unless PolitiFact and Snopes are both wrong, which I find unlikely, is that this particular chemical didn't meet the threshold. And then that was all they said. So I'm like, let me check on this chemical. And then I found the backstory on that, right? So it's not like it was that particular chemical. It's because when you do hazmat, they come in particular classes, right? So they're like, oh, this particular class would qualify and this one wouldn't. So a lot of chemicals that are very flammable, combustible, toxic, don't qualify as that class. And then they say, oh well, what this class is totally, it's vanilla Coke, it's totally fine. You know what I mean? Like it's what are the odds? We have to support our capitalist ventures. We have to make sure that we can make the most money possible, because that way we can not only not give our employees paid family leave, but also make more money on the product that we're shipping.
Yes.
As we pick and choose the vendor to move, who's going to pay our rates.
Exactly. As the founders would want. It's what the founders would want. So, and like, but that whole issue, like did you see the meme? There was a Facebook meme going around, because I've seen that they've talked about that it's gotten into the Ohio River Basin. And so they were showing kind of what areas are affected. And so somebody overlaid it with an election map. And they were like, look, it's mostly red counties that will be affected by this. And like red voting areas. And they were like, see, it's the Biden administration trying to get rid of Republican voters. And I was like, oh my God, you guys are so, okay, you're almost there. Keep going. Keep thinking about it. Like, just contextualize that a little bit more. Mm-hmm. The spill happened in a red state, in an area that had deregulated the railroads and had made deals with them so that they didn't have to properly handle this. Keep going. It's not Biden, but you're so close.
Naria says, I was blown away when I heard the rail company offer $25,000 to the whole town. They're so generous.
Yeah. It's like, what is that, $50 a person? Hey, Killmongerborn.
That's probably what one rail car costs. I mean, like to load to put that load on there. I mean, it's not that much. I know it's not that much, but still, it's the entire shipment was probably, and obviously that's going to go towards the insurance, and they'll say, oh, look, the union guys didn't do it right, or they didn't check it right. It's always going to be somebody else's fault. The truth is, Republicans fight for deregulation. Yes. And then when it goes bad, they blame the Democrats, and the right wing just believes them. And that's all there is to it. J.D. Vance went on Tucker Carlson's show, who suddenly, this is astonishing, suddenly Tucker and Marjorie Taylor Greene are so worried about the environmental impact.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
They
can't afford to lose more viewers and voters. So,
because they love the environment. They love it. They've never ever been pro pollution, not for a day. They're so into green energy. Sounds hypocritical, but J.D. Vance goes on Tucker's show. Of course, J.D. Vance, the senator from Ohio, the maggot who was elected there to Senate.
Mhm.
And he says, he goes on railing and talking shit. JD Vance, this happened in his state. You know how many times he went on TV to talk about this or tweeted about it or posted it to his website or anything like that before the Tucker interview, like 13 days after this happened? You could guess how many times he had even
I
mentioned
would say never, because he doesn't care.
when he went on Tucker's show, it was the second time he talked about it. The first time was the day before in a tweet. And the tweet wasn't like thoughts, it wasn't even a thoughts and prayers. It was like, this is Democrats' fault for the infrastructure bill because the infrastructure bill put money towards woke products.
There you go. Yep, exactly. Perfect. I mean, that's right out of their playbook. That is pretty standard fare for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, no, it's just like, and I feel awful for these people because honestly, what is going to happen is there's going to be a class action lawsuit because who knows the entire impact of this. There'll be a class action lawsuit. I heard Aaron Brockovich is already jumping in, and
oh, really?
And the companies are going to they're going to push it. Their lawyers are going to push it. There's going to be a high bar for you exactly have to prove that it's what killed your chickens and gave your child like asthma. And, there's going to be such a high bar of proof. And then when they finally do get that class action lawsuit in 10 years and get the payout, everyone will be like, oh my God, it was $750 million or whatever. But after the lawyers are paid and the families get it, it'll be like $50,000 a piece, which doesn't even cover the loss of their property, the loss of their livelihood, plus the medical bills that they're going to incur taking care of all the health issues they have because of this. It's not going to cover any of that. And then nobody will talk about it again. And the company will be like, it was worth the risk.
You know who always wins?
The corporations, the lawyers, the politicians.
Don't sign that.
Hopefully.
Aaron Brockovich will run in, and then Julia Roberts will run in as Aaron Brockovich.
Yes. Okay, let's get them together. This will be better if they work in tandem, to be honest.
Yeah. I think Lindsay would disagree. I think she would trade Idahoan for Ohioan, maybe. Would you is that an upgrade or a downgrade? Or is that a lateral move?
I mean, now it's sure a downgrade. I don't want to live where all the poison is. I'd say it's a downgrade now, but we'll see because Idaho is racing down for a Darwin Award. So we'll see.
Idaho's moving to the right not as quickly as Florida, but they're moving to the right pretty quick.
Yeah. They're trying to outlaw COVID vaccines in Idaho. Like nobody can get one, even if you want one.
Of course. Let me be janky. Of course.
And you can't give one to any mammal in the state, which seemed important to them. So
I can't even give my dog the COVID vaccine?
No, you cannot. No. I made a whole TikTok listing the animals that you can't give a COVID vaccine to.
Okay, but can I... Sarcasm here. Okay, sarcasm. But as a Republican, though, we can give them to the trans people because they're not humans, so it's okay. Trans people can have...
I would say they're still mammals, so...
Are they?
I'm going to say that people are making that argument, but maybe. Yeah, so anyway, so we're doing that. They're trying to dissolve all the library boards. What else happened this week? They're trying to get people to, they're going to pass a bill so people can sue schools about the books they have so they can hopefully, get rid of the schools. Anyway, it's just going to be really, really, it's good. We're doing great.
Yeah, but what did you expect?
But right now that feels a little bit better than wasteland, vinyl chloride wasteland. So
Yeah, I have a lot of issues with things they do in California. Um, they make their fair share of stupid laws in California.
Yeah.
But they ban vape juice. Like, come on. Like, I understand that you don't want kids to have it, but on the other side of the coin, you're taking away a stop smoking route from a lot of people. For what? To be able to just basically say that you did the right thing to save 7 kids. I mean, that's conservatism 101. But when it comes to most of this stuff, like California, that's why we pay higher taxes, is so that we can have some sort of I don't know, safety, not have to worry about our lives. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
You have bodily autonomy. You pay taxes, but you have bodily autonomy. We also pay extremely high property taxes, but we don't have bodily autonomy.
well, yeah, but women, according to Matt Walsh, also women don't qualify as mammals. So
we can get the COVID vaccine. I love this. This is great.
Yep. No
We're
COVID
gonna
vaccine.
we'll dehumanize women full circle until we can get COVID vaccines in Idaho again.
Pea Bucket vapes, for the love of Thor, don't take away Pea Bucket's vape juice away. What's a woman anyway? Right. That's a great point, Narya.
Yeah.
I mean, what is a woman? Like, no one's if Ketanji Brown Jackson doesn't know what a woman is, I mean, I'm so, Narya will attest to this. Tons of mice won't, because he doesn't ever come and watch the Dutch Jason channel because he hates me. But
Whoa.
Killmonger, if he's still there, Narya, I don't know where everybody is tonight. All my normal buddies over there, but like we
They heard you in Utah and they abandoned you.
Yeah, and I just totally forgot what I was going to say. I forgot.
Our women people. Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for reminding
Got you.
me. See, what would I do without you? I'm surprised you showed back up for our second date after that debacle last week.
That was the worst movie ever. A top 5 worst date.
I was gonna say, like, I asked Lindsay to go on another movie date with me, and she was like, hard pass.
Yeah.
But
just below the date where the guy stole $50 from me. So
oh yeah. Well, at least they didn't. I'm just wondering if my girlfriend's now ex-boyfriend's parents are actually going to pay me for that washer dryer that they were going to pay me for on the 24th. But we'll see. I'm not going to hold my breath.
Let me tell you. I'm going to spoiler. They're not.
Yeah.
So
they're taken from the liberals and given to the conservatives. So, but as we talk about a lot on our channel, we have a couple, and Ari will test this. We have a couple of right wingers that come on that channel. One thing I will tell you that's been very refreshing about my new channel is that we do get some right wingers in there who do seem to be genuinely like open to just having normal conversations without name calling and like admitting that they might not be right. Sometimes after way too much convincing, like, how many articles do I have to show you before you realize that you're wrong? Like on the 14th one, they're like, okay, maybe I was wrong on that. Well, after 2, we should have been there. But but we have a couple that'll be like, their comeback, Lindsay, and I'm sure you get this all the time up there. Their comeback to like healthcare or anything is, why should I listen to someone who can't agree that there's 2 sexes?
Like every day, like 5 times a day, 10 times a day. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is that the best you got? You can't do any better than that. Like, you can't, that's the only argument that you come up with is that. Okay. Gotcha. That makes total sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Dutch, their peak humor right now is like, my pronouns are eagle and flag. So that's still like peak humor for them. So
my pronouns are fuck you.
Yeah. Founding father, bitches. Yeah. That's what they're still doing all the time.
All right. I sent you 2 videos that I think you're going to love on Twitter.
I already know that you know what kind of videos I love, so this will be great.
Yeah. So go ahead and share those. By the way, don't forget, I forget this all the time. Don't forget to check the little box at the bottom on the share screen window. So the audio, it says share audio.
Okay. So I don't remember how to do this at all because you always do it.
Present.
Oh yeah, there we go. See, you guys can watch Dutch talk me through this.
Yeah, it's okay.
Because I never do this.
Lindsay, she doesn't know how to do it because she doesn't do it, not because she doesn't know how to do it.
I'd never do it. Okay,
I'm not implying that you can't do it or that I'm mansplaining it to her.
No, I literally need you to remind me because I just don't ever do it. So
now, now click on that video right there and just and play that.
On just a smidge. Here we go. Oh, this is gonna be
expand it out. There you go.
Oh.
It's your church service. That's a real sword. Okay, hold on. Don't play it one more time. Hit pause for a second.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you to pause this a couple of times and actually you pause it at a great time right here. Note as you watch this guy swing this real sword around that the guy behind him is holding a plastic shield to protect himself.
Yeah, I think this went poorly in practice one time.
Now, also notice as you watch him, half the time he's swinging this thing around, his eyes are not open.
No, then the person kind of walked in front of him when his eyes were closed.
Yeah, so go forward. You have to see how close this came. People don't. He's so deep in his prayer. All right, it's not this one. All right, now it's right. All right, pause it. Now watch this. He's about to jab forward, and I think this is the one where the guy. And what is this, 16 seconds into the video, something like that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Hit pause and watch when the guy walks by. It's 17 seconds.
Yeah.
It's still 16. It's a half a second. That guy almost got killed.
Yeah, he almost got stabbed. Well, he needs everyone needs a plastic sword while this guy just swing. These are the same people who get on Twitter and tell me I'm in Satan's army.
Go with the spirit.
These are the exact same people. That's fun.
And then later in the video, a little girl goes probably it looks like she's 14. She goes dancing on the stage. I thought you were here to protect the children.
No, they're gonna accidentally. Hey, if it happens in worship, no harm, no foul.
She would be literally holy.
What? Remember when what was it, Jesus Freak or Jesus Camp or whatever came out, and there was that whole big bunch of
from the Newsboys?
No, it was that camp where all those kids went and would cry and throw up and stuff because they just love Jesus so much. And everyone was like, this is psychotic. And I thought we as a society kind of moved past that. But we didn't.
There's another video.
This is going to be so good. Okay, are we ready? Is everyone ready? Because I don't know if we are.
Yeah. Play the next one.
Okay, here we go. This is going to be so good. I know it. Oh, wait, did this take... Where am I? I got to find you again. It took me all the way out.
That's all right.
Here.
The viewers will wait for you. They won't wait for me, but they'll wait for you. Dutch Jason.
Oh, it's Dutch Jason. That's why I couldn't find you. I was like, I don't know. Where did you go? No, I can't find you. People.
That's
Nope.
because you have 2 S's in my name.
Do you not? Oh, look,
No.
there you are. I don't know. I don't know how many S's you have. I'm not going to like limit your S usage. You can have as many S's as you want. Oh, this
Hello,
will be
my
so
name
good.
is Justin. I'm from Finland. All right.
I mean, that looks pretty Dutchy, to be honest. Okay, here we go, guys.
That one right there. Yeah, stand that out a little bit.
Shouting the name of Jesus and spreading the gospel in a crowded
Right, hit
mall.
pause real quick. I just want to show you something.
Okay.
Watch this.
Oh. Okay.
He's scanning the mall. Okay.
Look
And
at all
now
those
he
people.
sets it up. No, well, give us the play-by-play as to what you're seeing here.
I'm seeing them all. These people are enjoying a day out.
Mm-hmm.
They're perfectly happy. They don't want to talk to anyone else. They don't want to be bothered.
And what's his hat say?
Yeshua.
Yeshua.
And he's got a little like Jesus t-shirt on.
Yeah, there is Tupac there. Tupac is sitting right behind him, actually.
Yeah, Tupac is like, I don't want to be part of this shit either.
Tupac is literally folding his hands like this, looking at him like, what the fuck you about to do, bro?
He's like, no, thank you. No, thank you. But
this kid's getting his phone ready. And then you'll see as he walks to where he's going to do what he's going to do, he looks back to make sure he's still in frame. Let me just remind you of this verse. It goes something like,
this kid is like, he knows some bullshit's going to happen.
He's aware. He's looking over there. He's like
aware. He's like, uh-oh, some shit is going to happen.
Mama always told me to watch the white boys with Yeshua on their head.
Yeah, that is good advice. That is sage advice. Always germane.
But as he gets back, he'll double check. And like, I couldn't help but think, he who prays in front of the tabernacle loudly will have his rewards on earth.
If he can't post this on TikTok, then what was the point? It's not about the people. It's about the likes. It's about being viral. You got to be viral. If you're not viral for Jesus, doesn't matter what you do for Jesus. I don't know, Dutch.
I don't know. Let's see what he does for Jesus.
Oh, God. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this kid was for real.
Great check that you could.
Jesus! Jesus! Every knee will bow down and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is the living Son of God. We stand here because He is the today. I would not be here unless He told me not to. Do you guys not know the love that He has for you? I am unashamed to go and tell you the love that He has for you. He sent me here ready to show you all that He loves you. Do you guys know the love that He has for you? If you were to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand on the whole earth. Something is coming. The revival is coming. Jordan Jesus, repent. We love you. We love each and every one of you. We have a plan and a purpose for you. Do not run from the truth. Do not run from the gospel. Jesus loves you. Jesus.
I have so much secondhand cringe right now. Like, oh my God.
Did you see Naria's comment?
No, what?
Read Naria's comment. You'll like that one.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Naria said, be not like the Pharisees who pray loudly in front of Panda Express and Forever 21. Jesus, probably. Yeah, that's Jesus 2023. That kid I pointed out, he got up and left. He was like, no, he saw it and he was like, I'm not going to be part of this bullshit.
What's up, Trusty Ape?
Hey, Trusty Ape. Yeah, no, I have a lot of secondhand embarrassment about that situation. So,
oh my God, read and rap. You are so. Hey, what's up, Reed and
Oh,
Rocket?
thanks, Reed and Rod. Thank you.
What's up, man? Glad you stopped by for 3 seconds
Yeah,
to
good
say
to
hello.
see you. So,
He
yeah.
said, I just got to stop in and tell Lindsay how hot she is, and then go back and then go back over to Ari's stream.
Okay, I have to tell you a story about how I embarrassed my child about that.
We still love
I'll have
you,
to-
Reed and Rap.
We can come back to that. But
Yeah, go do it. Go
okay.
ahead.
So my oldest told me that like they had volleyball and stuff, and anyway, that's wrapped up. But they told me afterwards, they were like, "Oh, well, somebody on my team said that you were really hot," and I'm like, "It's kind of weird." And like they're like, they didn't believe you were my mom and everything. I'm like, "Oh, it's so weird." But then I was like, well, now we've entered a phase where you have to experience something from my childhood. And they were like, what? And so I played Stacy's mom.
Mhm.
And they were so mad and embarrassed. They're like, what's wrong with you, you psycho? And I was like, no, we've reached this point. I'm Stacy's mom. You have to live with it. Like, your friend thinks I'm hot. It's weird, but now we have to listen to this song.
They must have, like Tons of My says, they must have caught a glimpse. She must have wore some open toes one day, and that was it.
So anyway, they didn't talk to me like the whole day. They're super embarrassed. They hate that they know that song. And I was like, yeah, sorry, that was traumatic for me too. But now it's intergenerational. So I got to give them something that makes them funny.
Yeah, that's, oh my God, that's wrong on so many levels.
That song was always wrong on so many levels, but we're just going to spread that trauma. So
Stacy's mom and Stifler's mom.
Wait, something's up with your sound.
No, yeah, I had a phone call come in. I'm on my phone, so when someone rings my phone, it pops off real quick. But yeah, I have to use the phone today for those who joined late because I logged into the Wi-Fi at this hotel that I'm at in Utah. They have like 3 megabyte. How does that even count as free Wi-Fi? Like there should be an asterisk.
You're in Utah. 5G is a communist plot. So
that's why they have 1G.
Yeah.
They haven't upgraded their technology, much like the aliens flying their slow UFOs over Alaska.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep, exactly. So yeah, welcome to Utah. The further you get, the closer you get to the redoubt, the less technology you get. It's kind of an inverse relationship. So
yeah, we don't want no Wi-Fi up here. You listen now.
No, exactly. That's how the Chinese spy on us.
Yeah, you keep all that TikToking away from here. And TikTokers and
no, for real, like that's something that some of the like legislative adjacent peoples are like, you're just a communist plant because you make videos on TikTok. That's So that's
tell the viewers. Well, that was my mom calling me. I should have told her I arrived in Utah. I'm going to.
Oh my gosh, you didn't tell your mom?
No, I was shoveling fucking snow like a goddamn employee of this place, and I didn't think about it. So I will text her real quick while Lindsay gives you her updates on what's happening in Idaho.
Oh my gosh. Everybody was having fun. Okay, all right. Well, it's not very fun. It's pretty awful. Oh yeah, Dutch will be hacked by tomorrow, probably. Or he might be Mormon by tomorrow, to be honest. So we'll have to see. If Dutch comes back next week and he's Mormon, we're gonna have to do another exorcism. So he might not be forthright about whether he's Mormon or not. Oh, you're already back?
It depends how many sister wives that they offer me. You know, if they come to me with like 4 or 5.
How many is enough?
I think that if it's like 3 or more, I might have to take some. I'm still a horny guy. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? Like I'm still a guy. I still like women. If they were like, here's 3 beautiful of age women, right? Like, don't try to pass off the.
You're making a lot of assumptions. about what would be offered to you.
But they won't be Cedar City women because we already said, I'm out here in Cedar City. The girls out here don't look too pretty. The guys out here, they smell real shitty. I don't think they have shampoo here in Cedar City. Much like the guys who hit on you at the gym or at, what was it, Target? Yeah, well, can you recommend a shampoo?
Oh my gosh. Again, I don't recommend that, Dutch. That's not appealing. If a woman thinks you don't know how hygiene works, probably not going to want to date you, to be honest.
Hey, what's up, Lomber? What's going on,
Hey,
man?
Lomber.
Checking us out on YouTube. Good to see you on YouTube. That's Hot Rod Hooligan coming over to the YouTube channel. You're moonlighting over on YouTube today. Yeah, this show goes because this is a podcast. So all of me and Lindsay's old shit is up here, and it's all. I'm very, very bad as usual, and Lindsay is very, very great as usual. So it's the same recurring theme every show. So but
yeah, very similar.
She gives me an exorcism in one of them. Yeah,
I did. Well, I just said if you seem like you're Mormon next week, we might have to repeat that. We'll get you excommunicated, and then we'll do an exorcism. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Lomber. Oh, and
yeah, thanks so much for the support.
Trusty Ape comes over to Twitch, and he's like, "I'm missing the YouTube comments." So, yeah. So this show goes to YouTube and Twitch, but
you just can't win.
Yeah, it's the benefit of StreamYard is you can go different places, but the negative thing of StreamYard is that the audio video kind of sucks. So at some point in time, I'll probably start using Skype, but not until I get situated with where I'm going to move to, and then we'll have better video. It's astonishing how much, like, when I do my Twitch streams, like, my video is just like really good, and then you come on StreamYard and it's all like halfway pixelated. It doesn't look as good. It's very disappointing, but what can you do?
Yeah. People were talking about in the chat, you might be tarred and feathered for talking about Mormons this way. He's really close to where the Mountain Meadows massacre happened. So
for the uninitiated.
Oh yeah. Okay. Mountain Meadows massacre. Actually, it's a terrible story. So there was a wagon train in 1860, I don't know, 1859 or something like that. Coming across Utah, there was a rumor that some of them had, they were coming from Arkansas, but there was a rumor that some of them had been some of the men who killed Joseph Smith. Obviously not true. And so they came through Utah, and Brigham Young sent out a letter saying, nobody give them water, nobody sell them food. So they were really struggling as they were trying to get through Utah to get to California. And at the same time, Brigham Young had been preaching a lot of if you're not with us, you're with Satan, and we need they should be killed. Lots of blood atonement rhetoric for killing your enemies. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so they got down to Cedar City, and this is where it's speculated. Did Brigham Young tell the people here to kill them or not? It's murky. But they tried to recruit indigenous people here, and they're like, we'll give you their supplies. We just kind of want to scare them because they're poisoning our horses and our cows, which also wasn't true. And so the indigenous people started to help them, and then they were like, wait, what are you doing? Because the Mormons were dressing up as indigenous people too. And they're like, we're not down with this. What's your plan here? So they stopped, because they kind of circled the wagon train, made them kind of stop. The indigenous people stopped. They're like, no, this isn't what we do. We're not down. And so the Mormons continued to dress as indigenous people. And they said, they were like, hey, give us your weapons. We're not the indigenous people were going to attack you. We stopped them. Just give us your weapons and we'll let you go on to California. So they did. And then they didn't. They killed all the men and women and children over the age of 8, because in Mormonism, if you're under the age of 8, you're still covered by Christ's atonement. So you can't sin. And so everyone under the age of 8, they were they're still pure, so we don't want to kill them because they would go to heaven automatically. and they didn't want them to go to heaven automatically. So even that was kind of fucked up. And so anyway, but they killed them all. And then the US, and they like sent all the kids out to different households for people to raise. And one of my ancestors did that. So that's cool. Asshole. On his deathbed, he was like, I didn't actually kill anyone though, but it doesn't matter because you helped kill people. So you're a murderer either way. You're an asshole. You're a dick. And so anyway, the Civil War, like the federal government started to look into it because everyone was like, what happened to this wagon train? And they started to look into it, but then the Civil War happened. And so like it took years and years and years, and it was Utah. So like who the fuck wanted to go out there? So they finally went out there, started to look, and like they hadn't even buried the bodies. Like just like all across the valley was just all of these bodies. And they hadn't, like, they just left them and taken all their crap and their kids. And it was psychotic. And the Mormon church denied it for like years and years and years and years. They were like, no, it was the indigenous people. We never did it. And then finally in the 90s, there was a big push because they were like, okay, we have all this evidence. You guys are like fucking liars. And so they made a monument, and it's not even apologizing. They're just like, we're really sorry that this happened. It's unfortunate. Because they don't say sorry. They're just like, it was unfortunate that sometimes indigenous people and settlers fought, and like there were miscommunications, and like just, you boys will be boys, and sometimes it gets a little rowdy, and that's unfortunate. So
yeah, maybe I'll go check that out in the morning. I'll have to see how close I am to it.
It's like 20 miles away, and it's just like a pile of rocks, and it's mostly just plausible deniability, like oopsie doopsie, some people died here, and that's sad because life is hard sometimes. It's basically what it is.
Well, I mean, dressing up as indigenous people is something that white settlers did a lot. I mean, the whole Boston Tea Party, they did it dressed as indigenous people, you know, probably wearing red face.
Yes. Oh, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
And Naria brought up that early Mormons were tarred and feathered themselves sometimes. Yes, they were. Joseph Smith was tarred and feathered after he had been interacting with young daughters of the townspeople. So that's why that happened. So, but Mormons really like to paint that as like, see, they were persecuting the prophet. I don't know. Like, yes, and like,
You might want to ask why.
no, you never ask why in Mormonism. You don't ask questions.
I didn't know Joseph Smith was Catholic.
I don't know that. Oh, what?
I said I didn't know he was Catholic.
Because you don't ask questions, or what?
No, because he likes to mess with little kids. That was a Catholic.
Well, I mean, they were like 14.
So, okay. So that's definitely Mormon age.
Yeah.
That's too old for the Catholics.
Yeah.
The Catholics like them, like, they're these, look, people, I'm not trying to paint the picture here that non-religious people, atheists, Democrats, liberals can't be disgusting child abusers and child predators.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
But when you use when you use the apparatus of religion to do it, continue to do it, and bury it, that's a unique kind of dirty.
Yeah.
No,
it's when you use an institution to like you said, bury it and normalize it and perpetuate it. That is so much worse and causes so much more trauma. Not because it's always bad. It's always bad. It's always wrong. Yeah. But these institutions have been used and are continued to be used to cover up and perpetuate it. And then even when it's exposed, people are like, well, you can't judge a church. Like, it's, people are fallible, but the gospel is perfect, whatever it is they say to justify it. But like denying the fact that institutions have been used and are continually used to perpetuate atrocities.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep, and will continue to be used.
yeah.
And you know, like I said, I'm not pretending that like that you know, even people that we think are on our side have done shit like that, right? You know, it
Oh,
comes out every once in a
absolutely.
while that it's there's assholes in the world, and that's just 100% true. The problem again is like it's the lack of accountability, you know, and like and this is also true of schools, by the way, right? But like they're so quick to point out, you know, when anything happens at a school, they're so quick to point it out, especially at a public school. If it's at a private school, they're like, oh, isn't that weird? Like if something bad happens at a public school, it's the public school system's fault. But if something bad happens at a private school, it's a bad apple. It reminds me of the same excuse they use with policing,
Oh, exactly.
you know,
It's
or
exactly
you
the
know,
same.
one of a number of other things. You know what I mean?
It's just like, I mean, it's the exact same thing as like with mass shooters versus like when police kill a Black person, they're like, well, there's reasons. But then when there's a white mass shooter, they're like, it was a lone wolf. It was a bad apple. It was, you know, like they want individuality for white Christian people when something goes wrong. They, what are you doing? Anyway, they want.
You'll see. I'm logging in because I'm going to share a link with you. I forgot to show you something.
Okay, so anyway, they want individuality when, like, it's a white Christian conservative person. What the hell? Is that going to happen again? Okay, that's horrifying. I was just in hell. Anyway, but anyway, they want individuality when it's a white Christian conservative, but then they're so ready if something happens on the left or with any other group, they're so quick to be like, that is a problem with that entire group. So.
Sorry, that was not you. That was me because I pulled up the studio on my computer so I could share a link with you in the private chat. There's a reason why I shared the link with you, which you'll see in a second. But but when I forgot to mute the phone, so I forgot to mute my microphone. So you heard yourself come through and loop over and over and over and over again.
That was horrifying.
I shared a link with you in the private chat.
I saw that.
So the reason why I shared, well, this is actually a video that it's one of the ones that we'll play maybe next week, or we can play some of it if you want to. But I played a bit of this video about 4 or 5 days ago on my other show, and one of the people said, "Well, just go ahead and play it for real quick. Just play like the first 15 seconds, and then I will tell you what they said." And I laughed, but it had to do with this show. Now this is, pause real quick. This is Kat Kerr and Elijah something or other. It's Christian prophetic bullshit. And I watch this shit and troll it, right? Like I just talk a bunch of shit about it. Like I watch Matt Walsh and I talk shit. But one of the comments, I think it was Metallic Soul made, or I don't remember who it was. I'll have to go back and credit them. But just let the first like 15 seconds play.
Oh, okay, this is going to be so good.
Here's my question. You said that, of course, people can look over at portals in heaven to see how the family's doing. And then you said at a different time that.
You know what he said to me? You know what he said to me? He goes, "This looks like you and Lindsay." And
oh my God! No.
Because he even said he's like, she'd taken a sip out of her drink and everything. And I'm like, what the fuck?
No.
I'm like, I have hair, and Lindsay is not a moron.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Do you know who Kat Kerr is?
No.
Oh, I'm going to educate you on Kat Kerr. Kat Kerr is a prophet.
Oh, that's fun for
Mhm.
her.
Yeah.
That's great. I bet
So
she prophesies really important, crucial, and like
go,
relevant things.
go ahead and play like a couple minutes of this, and you'll get a taste of it.
Oh, I'm so excited. This is great.
And this is a tamer
Many
one
people
too.
who come home later, that those who might normally have looked over the portal will want to know.
By come
I
home,
think
he
you
means
said news from
die and
home.
go to
What's
heaven.
going on at home? First of all,
Okay.
am I saying that right? Do people
I
want to
think
know what's going on?
you're saying it pretty close.
Okay.
When people come from earth to heaven,
Yeah.
they actually hold events for that person to speak. Everybody wants to hear the latest from planet Earth, not necessarily the darkness, what the darkness is doing, but what's going on with God's kingdom on the earth, the people there. And everybody wants to come. So whenever somebody comes home to heaven, they're not going to be misknown. Everybody will know them eventually because they do have events all over heaven, and they're the ones who get to speak.
Go ahead and pause it.
The other thing that's been
Oh my
shown to
God.
them in the time that they have.
So do they have like a flea market? Like what kind of events do they have? Is it like a potluck?
Oh my God. You know it is. And it's like such nasty food. Like I think you still can't eat at everyone's house in heaven.
This is I just could not stop laughing, dude, because I watch a lot. I when I watch the Kat Kerr stuff, but then just right out of the blue in the comments, is this you and Lindsay in 20 years? I'm like, no.
No. My God.
I'm like,
Yeah,
Lindsay,
she does.
Lindsay's usually on the other side, but weirdly this week you are on
This week
on
that
this
did
side.
kind
Yeah.
of work. Should I?
Yeah.
When you're in the portal,
But like Kat
the
Kerr,
potluck.
Kat Kerr, I'm going to tell you what. Next week we'll watch some of this shit, and it's going to be another movie. It'll be a movie date, and of course, now watch. 20 minutes before the show, Lindsay's going to be like, "Oh, I got a sick kid. I can't make movie night."
I'll be like, oh no. So I literally have
You'll never guess.
everything. I have
You'll
a
never guess.
headache. I have to wash my hair.
We're only gonna have water on for 30 minutes today, and it just happens to be during the show.
It's exactly 9 o'clock. I just have my power's gone. I have no internet because I live in the redoubt. So
Darn it, missed Kat Kerr.
Oh
no. But Kat Kerr is a prophet, and she walks around with a big rod like Moses, like a staff.
Okay.
And her gimmick is, and she's very popular, especially with far-right evangelicals. Her gimmick is that she talks to God, like she'll say something like, "Oh, I was at the store and there was an angel walking next to me, and we were just talking about, the best refried beans." And like legitimate churches will have her come there and talk about like, "Oh yeah, like if you want pudding in heaven, I've been to heaven a few times. It's there. I was there. I was talking to Whitney Houston, and Whitney Houston's actually in heaven." And a lot of people don't believe me, but like Michael Jackson's actually there. Like the pedophilia is not true. But I don't know. Maybe he got asked for forgiveness at the last minute. But I know I saw him there, and he was hanging out with Jesus, and we were playing like racquetball, and it was just, and then I'll just be sitting at home doing the dishes or, watching something on television. And the next thing you know, God says, "Hey, come to heaven," and he'll just take me to heaven with him, and I'll be there for years. And then I'll come back to earth, and it's only, a few seconds that have gone by. And all of these legitimate churches are like, "Oh, yeah, that totally sounds fucking true."
The bar is so low.
You can literally make up whatever you want.
This is like, I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was that bad.
Do you see the comment from Google Eats?
Yeah.
So, you gotta share that one. That's the best.
Hey guys, look. Google Eats. Lindsay, your order of hell fries has shipped to heaven. You may also be interested in angel food cake. Yes, you guys get me. Cake and fries. I love it.
Do they have any devil's pound cake there in heaven?
If it's not heaven, are you kidding me? If it's not heaven, if you don't have like solid, decent cake.
Yeah, you got it. So devil's food cake is probably, I am a believer that the devil. So let me ask you this question.
Okay.
Why when you were a kid, did you think the devil was the snake in the garden, the serpent?
Yes, Mormonism teaches that. Yes.
I never believed that. Like maybe like when I was like super little, but like by the time I was like at least 9 or 10, I was like, wait a minute, why would God punish an animal for all animals, the entire species, because a supernatural being possessed one of them?
Yeah.
So because one of them got, either the devil took the form of or possessed one, God then stripped the legs away.
Yes.
From all snakes for eternity because of something they had nothing to do with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and also curses all women because they ate fruit first.
Yeah, but that, of course, look, if Matt Walsh thinks it's happened, it's happened. I mean, let's not argue about that. Women are the downfall of America. Matt Walsh says it's true. It has to be true.
There you go. I was going to say that. Yeah. That if Matt Walsh thinks it's logical, we know that definitely that means it is logical because that's what he does.
Not aware of any reference to the devil as being a serpent at the time of Adam and Eve's big mistake. Yeah, but like the serpent, the Bible doesn't say anything about it being the devil. That's the weird part. It's like it says so the serpent, I'm paraphrasing. The serpent was among the most crafty animals in the garden, or creatures in the garden, right? So like, but then it's implied that it has its legs taken away. So what's the backstory? I want to know. What's the backstory with worms? There's got to be an unwritten lost tale of why worms lost their legs. And I think that we deserve that story. So maybe we should invent it.
No, I just did. Worms were in the apples. And so when Eve took the bite, like it was like God didn't mean to curse the worm. It was just like collateral damage. And so like as the cursings were happening, the worm just happened to be there. And then it was like, hey, worm, you also don't get legs. It was just.
He was an accessory or a witness to the crime.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, you didn't come tell me about it. So also no legs for you. So that's why it was just like, it was really unfair for the worm, to be honest.
No for you. No legs for you.
No legs for you. But I mean, the God of the Bible isn't known for being fair. So
I'm going to take away your legs and all of your kids' legs forever.
Yeah.
It sounds like very just punishment for
just like existing near fruit.
Yeah, and so the worm loses his legs for seeing the crime. The serpent loses his legs for having a supernatural being take the form of it. Yes. Eve has to bear children and run from snakes forever, apparently.
And be a helpmeet. So like lower.
Yeah, and be a helper. And men have to tend the garden, but that was what God had made him for in the first place. Yeah. Because it literally says, garden is for you to keep and manage, basically. And then his punishment was
fucking privilege from the beginning, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds like a pretty sweet deal, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So
Adam came out of that fucking unscathed. So there you go. Sounds about right.
And now my Eve, instead of just walking around naked all day, I get to dress her in some sexy leaves.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah. I'm the first issue of Eve's Illustrated fig leaf fruit swimsuit issue.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm sure that was really fun for a while.
Well, kids, you fucked up. Now you got to move out and get jobs. Yep. See?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. I think that the worm backstory, though, I think there should be one more added element to it because I'm just not sure what it should be yet. Because the worm also goes under the ground. So there's got to be a reason why. Maybe it's because you hid in the apple.
Yes.
Because
There
you
you go.
hid from me in the apple.
Yeah.
Your crime was clearly the least, but you get the most punishment because not only did you lose your legs like the serpent who did the crime, but you also get to live underground. And if you come out during the rain,
You drown.
you drown or you bake in the sun.
Yes.
But the good news is if I cut you in half, you now have two of you.
Only in like certain places though. So that feels like a real gamble. So I don't know. You know,
split me 1/2 inch wrong.
Yeah, so now I'm just gonna die and not beat you.
No, yeah. You're not gonna worm.
They had eye closed sword guy doing it and missed it by like this much, and so now he's just dead. It's fine.
Open your eyes next time, worm
Yeah,
killer.
seriously, come on now. Yeah,
God.
well, it's that whole like if you I think it's like in the Bible where it's like if somebody does something wrong to you and then they're like, if you don't forgive him, the worst sin is with you. So God was like, if you don't tell me when Adam and Eve fuck up, the worst sin is with you because you were in the apple. So he also had to live in the dirt.
You know what? You know why I love having these talks is because if we were raised like by normal kids, like normal kids,
raised
like
by kids. I was like, we were raised by children.
And I'm not saying anything negative about either of our parents because I don't know your parents, so I'm not gonna say anything negative about them. And I love my parents, right? But
Yeah.
but if the weird stuff by like, let me watch Bambi first to make sure that it's appropriate for you, and like the trick or treat, you should. After I was like 6, they decided I couldn't trick or treat anymore because it was, and like all this weird restrictions, and I'm like normalizing all this stuff, like the guy swinging the sword. I actually, when I watch that, I know how absurd it is, but I also am like, well, it doesn't surprise me, but like if you don't come from an evangelical background or Mormon background, which they're very similar in a lot of ways, like you look at this and you're like, you can't really they just look like insane people.
Yes.
And while we realize they're insane, it's like we actually kind of know why. We know the backstory, right? Like we're like,
yes,
what the fuck are we still doing this for? But
we're like
they're not going to stop.
We're the insanity whisperers. We know why it's happening. We just choose to make fun of it because it is so ridiculous.
But like that guy swinging the sword, I believe that he believes that sword is actually like the sword given to him by God. I totally believe him when he tells me.
Oh yeah. And like they're wacky dancing and chanting. Oh, they absolutely all believe that is something really real happening from God, that something actually is really going on there. They absolutely believe it.
The funniest part about that video too is like you got the guy behind him with the shield, but then off to the side they got like the kind of socially awkward dude who's like ringing the bell, and it's like a miniature Liberty Bell, and he's just sitting there ringing it like that's. Well, I'm gonna add some real fucking ambiance here.
I know how that conversation went, where Charlie was like, well, I've got my shield, and Charlie's the bearded guy.
Yeah.
And Kevin was like, I've got this sword. It's a real sword. I went to a swordsmith. It was off whatever that show was on, like
it's made of
Discovery Channel. Yeah, no, it's real
steel.
So, like sword masters made this sword, and I prayed over it and imbued with the power of God. And then they have a buddy named I don't know, Scotty. And Scotty was like, you guys, I have a bell, kind of like the Liberty Bell. And they're like, okay. I mean, you can bring your bell. We're going to be dancing and chanting a lot. So I don't understand like how the bell, and he's like, you guys, I really want to bring my bell.
The only one that's not a weapon, and they question it. But he's like,
and so he feels a
go
little
over there
weird because
go to
like,
the side. Go over there. Like, off camera. All right, and ring your bell.
And he wants to dance and feel real tough too, but that's kind of hard when you just stand there like tugging on a bell string. Like,
I don't think he even got. I think he had to push that one. He had to, like, literally push it with his hand.
Yeah, he's just like, and you could see he like in his eyes, he really wants to be part of the cool kids, but he's not quite because all he's got is a bell. And so like, but he's just really glad to be included, but it feels a little less magical to him.
Here, all right, here's you. I'm him.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna pretend we're in a car. I'm him. You're his wife, driving home.
Okay.
Hey, honey.
Yeah, what's up?
I really rocked it with that bell today, didn't I?
You were so strong, and the spirit was so strong. That really was.
I killed it with that bell.
Until you did. When you rang the bell, that is truly when I felt the Holy Spirit. You're right. That was what we really needed to that worship ceremony.
I don't know. I kind of felt like you were looking at Kevin the whole time.
No, you were so cool. And your dance moves are getting better. So that was really great. You were so powerful. That was a great power stance right before you rang the bell. You're doing so good.
I think in real life though, she would have just been like this. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, she's like, so embarrassing. Why didn't you want a sword? We got to get you a plastic shield.
She's scrolling through her TikToks. Look.
See, I think she's probably sweet. She was probably that one filming that lady over to the side. She's like, no, I really only filmed you. You're going to go viral. I know everyone thought Kevin would go viral with the sword and the like hokey, like dancing and swinging it wildly with his eyes closed. But I filmed you and we're going to get you on TikTok tomorrow and definitely also as viral.
Can we do that every week? Can we show like a TikTok, crazy religious TikTok of the week? That would be a good little thing to show.
Let's do it.
Yeah, because those are just, they give me so much joy.
They are wild. Yeah, no, I think we
so
should.
Much joy. It's not joy, really. It's some other emotion. It feels like joy, but it's really terror, I think.
Yes. You know, those heightened emotions where you're like, am I scared or excited? I don't know. Like,
HR.
This is horrifying.
HR didn't see. Can we play it again for HR? Can we play it one more time before we go?
Yes, we can play it again. Okay, HR, this is just for you. This is purely for you because we like you. Here we go. You are, oh yeah, this is when I misspelled Jason's name. You get to see that too. So that's fun. Okay, here we go. This is going to be so good.
Nobody cares about my name. It's not sharing if you think it's sharing. Oh, you got to present the screen first.
I only did half the steps. So just a sec. See, I messed it up. I got so excited to show him I messed it up. Okay.
Yeah, you'll see HR.
I was just watching it by myself. Here we go. This is going to be so good. I'll get it back so you don't miss a single moment.
Wow, he almost stabs him right here. Oh, he almost stabs him.
Well, look at Steve's good power stance. He's trying so hard.
Go with the spirit. Go with the spirit.
Okay, wait. I don't think we talked about this guy with his little, I don't know what that is.
What is it?
I don't know. Is it one of those little horns from the World Cup in South Africa?
Oh, no. You know what that is? That's a ram's horn.
It doesn't look as curly as I've seen him in the movies.
It's very small on my screen, but it looks like it might be a ram's horn.
Okay, so like, what is this guy's story? Because does he have a backwards hat on? He maybe does, and he's far away from everyone. So did he like want to be part of the band?
He wasn't really invited, but he just wanted to say he was there.
It feels like Brian, we told you not to bring your stupid ram's horn, and he was like,
no,
guys,
they love those. They love those fucking things, dude.
No, but I don't think they like Brian. So he's not really with them.
No, he's not on the cool team. He's not on the worship team.
I think he bought this ram's horn because he thought they would like it, and they didn't. But he's like, you guys, I spent so much money. Please. And they told him no, but he's doing it anyways.
Do you know what the significance of the ram's horn is right now?
Like right now, today, or in religion in general?
I'm sure you know about in religion in general, but the new 2.0 is it's tied to Trump and like ushering in
like the second coming and shit.
The second, becoming the new Israel, and the old and America falling back, like the secular government falling, and America going back and becoming, the Seven Mountains philosophy and stuff like that. It's like it's their way of like calling it in. It's all the rage in evangelical circles now, and it started the day Trump was elected because they all went and bought these ram's horns. And I started learning about like the attachment of the ram's horn to the Trump, the evangelical Trump support.
Oh my God.
And it gets worse. At least for me. And then so I've been learning about this, and I was like, this is weird shit, man. Like, I get the ram's horn thing because of Jericho. Like, that's why they do it, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know that story, and that like it's symbolic within like Jewish like ceremonies and stuff. So
yeah, it's about symbolic within Jewish ceremonies, but they evoke it because they believe that the United States is going to be like basically the new nation of Israel. And let it not be a secret. One of the reasons why these evangelicals want to usher in the rapture so badly is literally so all but 144,000 Jews will die, and that they get to be the new, chosen people.
See, Mormonism takes a different like approach.
Mm-hmm.
So like they think the same thing, because they think the Garden of Eden, where Adam and Eve were kicked out after they were kicked out of the Garden of Eden was in Jackson County, Missouri.
They were kicked out of the Olive Garden?
Yeah, in Jackson County, Missouri. So
Adam and Eve kicked from Olive Garden by woke waitress.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And so like they built an altar there. And so like within Mormonism, the lore is that's where Jesus will come back and rebuild the temple there, kind of like the Jerusalem thing, because Mormonism just co-ops all of that. But that the 144,000 is 144,000 Mormon priesthood holders will like usher in the second coming. So they co-opt that. I mean, they really co-opt everything. So it is a very specific location. There's a whole site. They have pageants there. I think they don't anymore after COVID, but there were like pageants, like people Mormons travel from Utah and everywhere to go to Jackson County, Missouri. And they've built a temple there. They're building like a church building there, and it's just in the middle of nowhere. And they call it Adamon Diamond. And anyway, so they think that's where Jesus is coming. So they own a whole bunch of that land, just like waiting for Jesus to show up and go to Olive Garden.
Yeah, so they can get kicked out and then have the waitress lose her legs.
I am still alive. Past shelf date. Was that a concern? Yes, I'm still alive.
There's a question from Narya.
Okay, so Nari asked, don't Mormons believe there's a well of souls that has to be emptied before the end times or something? Okay, they think that everyone has to have their temple work done. So like, you probably mean, okay, so this is fun. So after you die in Mormonism, you don't like instantly go to heaven or hell. That's not a thing. But you go to either spirit paradise if you're a Mormon, or spirit prison for everybody else. just if they're not Mormons. So like the best person you know who's not Mormon still goes to spirit prison. And when you're in spirit prison, you're stuck there until a Mormon goes to the temple and gets baptized for you, where they do the baptisms for the dead. And they just like take people's names off of like obituaries and stuff. I mean, it's a whole system now. They're really, really efficient with it. But so like you're stuck in Mormon prison, well, spirit prison, until Mormons get baptized for you and then go and do endowments and initiatories and get you sealed to your spouse. And if you didn't have a spouse, that's kind of a gray area where you maybe don't get to go to heaven, but it's like whatever. And then you have to accept all of those ceremonies that somebody living did, like on a Saturday afternoon, really, really bored. And you're just really bored. You have to accept it or you can't go to heaven. Because then so while Mormons are doing that, like in the millennium, like all of the evangelicals are like, the millennium will be so cool. Jesus will be here. So Mormons are like, we can't wait for the millennium. We'll do temple work all the time, which actually sounds like pure torture. So like, thank God I'm not a Mormon anymore. Yes. So Mormons treat baptisms like gifting subs on Twitch. Yes, exactly. Like you are stuck in hell. You're stuck in
purgatory. That's a great analogy.
That is a fantastic analogy. So you're stuck there until some 12-year-old person like gets dunked in some water in a very specific location.
Oh my God.
Oh, yes. And past shelf date is absolutely right. Yes. And Jews really love having Mormons get baptized for victims of the Holocaust. Yes. Even when Mormons have been told to stop it, damn it, they still do it a lot. They also, you guys will love this. This is so good. So in Mormonism,
and by love, she means not love.
That's just like how Dutch is like, you're going to love this movie. It's not real. So in Mormonism, like, because I've left Mormonism, like I did all of the things, all the temple things, everything, and I left, like I am going to like outer darkness, the worst hellish, whatever place like ever. But Mormons did the temple work for Hitler and Eva Braun. And so even they got sealed together. And so Hitler can go to the highest level of Mormon heaven now because somebody did his work for him. So that's cool. That's, according to Mormon theology, he can go to heaven. So that's, not a flaw in the system at all. Yeah. Past shelf date. You're right. Like the proxy baptisms, the temple work. It is. You're constant. The Mormons have perfected the busy work. You're so busy. And there's so many expectations and you fail to do them because there's so many. Like you're supposed to read your scriptures a certain number of times a day. You're supposed to pray a certain number of times a day. You're supposed to be going to the temple once a week. You're supposed to have family home evening once a week. You have 1,000 meetings on Sunday. You have meetings on Wednesdays. You have there's so many things you're supposed to be doing. You're going to fail because you're a person who also has family responsibilities and a life, and occasionally you have to sleep. And so when you fail, then they just push that guilt. And so you do more and more and more. And so you always feel bad, like I'm not a good person because everyone's doing better than me, but everybody thinks that because everybody's failing at the exact same stuff. And you're so busy doing this busy work, and they put the pressure, like your dead relatives are basically in hell waiting for you to get off your ass and go to the temple and be baptized. And they're in hell. Like every minute you waste, they're still in hell. So you better do your goddamn work. It's so good. It's not toxic. It's not terrible. Really, really.
It's so good it's bad.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know.
That is. Anyway, Mormonism is fun. While you're in Utah, I just wanted you to have the full experience.
I can't wait to, I'm only going to be in Utah for as long as it takes me to get out of Utah. But you never know. I might get abducted by one of these little UFOs flying by, and it'll take me straight to, hell, I guess. But
tons of mice seem to have property there, so we could all visit.
For all Tons of Mice knows, I'm already at his property. He probably is the guy who owns this hotel. knowing tons of mice. That's
And
why
he
the
was
show
like,
was
"Don't
so
shovel
great.
it. Make Dutch shovel the snow."
Yeah, Dutch is on his way there. He'll get it. So
Yeah. You guys
I-
will take the night off.
we're at your normal time, aren't we? So you want to do your ASMR?
Yeah. Yeah, my stuff.
Okay.
Okay. I'm so excited. All right.
It's nice. I'm on the same time zone with you for once, though.
I know, isn't that handy? But you had like a rough day, so.
I've had a rough fortnight. Oh, there we
I was
go.
gonna say.
That's good.
Ta-da.
That's pretty fucking good.
Thanks. I'm getting better props. I'm getting better at it. I'm developing my
Alrighty.
ASMR skills.
Well, so where can the people follow you on the TikTok or the
I
Twitch?
am socialistly awkward on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Having lots of fun all over there, posting videos all the time. If you're like, what's going on in Idaho? It's terrible, but I'll tell you about it in a sarcastic way. So that's fun and entertaining.
And you can follow me over on Twitch or Twitter at Dutch Jason. And with that being said, we will head out of here. We will raid over to Mikey's channel as Mikey is on right now. And we will see you guys later.
Yes, see you
Thank
guys
you,
next
Lindsay. I'll
week.
see you next
See ya.
Friday.
Yes, safe travels, Dutch.
Thank you. All right, guys. Bye-bye.